Imagine a motorcycle that doesn't care about speed wars, horsepower battles, or spec sheet bragging rights. Instead, it's a bike that just makes you smile every time you start it up. A bike that can take you to work during the week and to the beach, forest trail, or countryside on the weekend, all while turning heads with its quirky retro style. That bike is back, and it's called the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because Suzuki has slipped in a brand new feature for this year that makes the VanVan more practical than ever before. Welcome back to Z Auto Advisor, your channel for in-depth reviews, real-world insights, and everything on two wheels and four. Today, we're diving into one of the most unique motorcycles in Suzuki's lineup, the VanVan 200. The name may sound playful, but this little machine has a loyal fan base, a quirky history, and now in 2026, a brand new lease on life. Before we get into the shiny new updates, let's rewind. The VanVan first appeared decades ago as a small, lightweight, go-anywhere motorcycle. Its most defining feature? Those chunky balloon tires. They weren't just for looks. They gave the bike excellent stability on sand, dirt, and loose gravel. The VanVan quickly developed a reputation as the perfect fun bike. Not intimidating, not complicated, but a motorcycle you could hop on and ride without stress. Riders loved it for beach cruising, backroads exploring, and short city commutes. It was also popular with beginners thanks to its low seat height and approachable nature. Fast forward to 2026, and Suzuki has decided to revive this cult classic. But can the VanVan 200 live up to its legacy in a world where motorcycles are packed with tech, huge engines, and endless competition? Let's find out. When you see the new 2026 VanVan 200, you instantly know what it is. Suzuki hasn't messed with the formula. The silhouette remains unmistakably VanVan. A long, flat seat, chunky tires, and a slim fuel tank. The round headlamp is still there, but now it's a modern LED unit for brighter, safer night riding. The instrument cluster combines an analog speedometer with a small digital display for fuel level, trip meter, and gear indicator, blending old-school charm with modern convenience. Suzuki has also introduced fresh paint schemes and graphics, with retro-inspired stripes and bright color options that stand out. Chrome accents on the exhaust and mirrors add to the classic vibe, while the rear fender and indicators keep things functional yet stylish. The VanVan 200 doesn't scream aggression like a sport bike. Instead, it whispers nostalgia. It's the kind of motorcycle that turns heads not because it's fast, but because it's different. Under the tank, the VanVan 200 sticks with a 199cc, air-cooled, single-cylinder engine. It produces around 17 horsepower and 15 Nm of torque, numbers that may sound modest on paper, but are more than enough for the bike's intended purpose. This engine is simple, reliable, and efficient. With fuel injection, throttle response is smooth, cold starts are easy, and emissions are kept in check. It's not going to win any drag races, but it's perfect for city commuting, short highway hops, and casual countryside exploration. Fuel economy is one of the bike's strongest suits. You can expect anywhere from 35 to 40 km/h, making it one of the most cost-effective bikes to run daily. Combined with a tank capacity of about 7.5 liters, you're looking at solid range for everyday use. The VanVan is all about approachability, smooth power delivery, easy control, and enough grunt to handle urban traffic and back roads without intimidating new riders. Now let's talk about the thing that makes the VanVan instantly recognizable: those chunky balloon tires. These wide, low-pressure tires are not just for show. They give the bike a unique character on the road. On city streets, they provide a cushioned, comfortable ride, soaking up potholes and bumps. On sand or gravel, they help the bike stay stable, reducing the chances of slipping. For light trails, forest paths, or beach runs, the VanVan feels right at home. The low seat height of around 700 cm means almost anyone can flat-foot this bike, boosting confidence. Its lightweight frame makes it incredibly nimble, so maneuvering through traffic, parking in tight spots, or zipping through alleyways is stress-free. The suspension setup is simple: telescopic forks up front and a monoshock at the rear, but tuned for comfort rather than sportiness. This makes the VanVan ideal for relaxed cruising rather than aggressive corner carving. The VanVan has always been about simplicity, and Suzuki has stuck to that philosophy while adding just enough modern touches for 2026. LED lighting for better visibility, digital analog cluster with trip, fuel gauge, and gear indicator, USB charging port for phones and gadgets, fuel injection system for efficiency and cleaner emissions, optional rear rack for luggage or camping gear, no ride modes, no traction control, no complicated menus, and that's exactly what makes it charming. It's a motorcycle stripped of unnecessary distractions, just you, the bike, and the road. One of the best things about the VanVan is how versatile it is for everyday use. In the city, it's perfect. Lightweight, easy to ride, and slim enough to weave through traffic. The wide handlebars give great control, and the upright riding position is comfortable for long commutes. Parking, no problem, this bike fits anywhere. On the weekend, it becomes a toy. Take it to the beach and those fat tires glide over the sand. Head out to the countryside, and you can confidently explore gravel tracks and dirt roads. It's not a hardcore off-road bike like a motocrosser, but it's playful and capable enough for adventure. It's also a great second bike. If you already own a big sport bike or cruiser, the VanVan makes the perfect lightweight companion for short trips and casual rides. The VanVan 200 sits in the affordable retro commuter segment. While exact pricing for 2026 depends on the market, it's expected to compete with Yamaha TW200, another fat tire retro bike, Honda Trail 125, a rugged, small-capacity adventure commuter, Royal Enfield Hunter 350, bigger engine but same retro charm. Where the VanVan wins is in personality. It's quirky, stylish, and has a cult following. No other bike in this class has quite the same combination of fat tires, retro design, and fun factor. This bike isn't for everyone, and that's a good thing. It's for riders beginners looking for an easy, confidence-inspiring first motorcycle. Commuters wanting a fuel-efficient, lightweight and stylish city ride. Weekend adventurers who love beach runs, forest trails, and relaxed countryside exploring. If you're chasing high speeds, long-distance touring, or aggressive performance, this isn't the bike for you. But if you want a motorcycle that makes every ride fun, no matter how short, the VanVan is perfect. Now, here's the surprise I promised at the beginning. Suzuki has introduced a brand new Eco Assist mode on the 2026 VanVan 200. This feature subtly adjusts throttle response and fuel mapping to maximize efficiency during city commutes. It helps new riders save fuel while also making the bike smoother in stop-and-go traffic. Combined with its already impressive economy, the VanVan is now one of the most budget-friendly motorcycles in its class. It's a small addition, but it shows Suzuki is paying attention to modern needs, keeping the VanVan fun while also making it practical for daily riders. So, what's the final word on the 2026 Suzuki VanVan 200? It's not about raw performance, crazy top speeds, or bleeding-edge tech. It's about something far more important: joy. The VanVan is simple, approachable, and packed with personality. It's a bike you can commute on during the week, take exploring on the weekend, and proudly park outside a cafe knowing it'll catch eyes. For new riders, it's confidence-inspiring. For experienced riders, it's a reminder of why we fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. This has been Z Auto Advisor. Thank you for joining me on this retro modern ride. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more in-depth reviews, and ring the bell so you never miss our latest updates. And now I want to hear from you. Would you choose the VanVan 200 over rivals like the TW200 or Honda Trail 125? Or do you think Suzuki's unique style gives it the edge? Drop your thoughts in the comments.